Invis is everything braces isn't. Eating the foods you love, life uninterrupted. Invisalign.
We are back with this week's Albany's construction feature story.
Aubrey, tonight we meet a 6'4" freshman tight end from California High School. Gabe Quezada has a hero in the NFL and two angels looking on from above. In his spare time during the pandemic, Gabriel Quezada is here helping young children learn the game of football.
And I heard that there was a lot more kids out here today, so I know little kids are very difficult to deal with just one singular parent or a coach, and so I wanted to help the little kids and try and teach them so they can be here for generations and more.
Ready, go.
Gabe is not only a football player, he's a football fan. In fact, watching a game at 6 years old, he found his favorite player.
It just happened. I was watching a Niner game and I saw him get hurt, and from there on, I always thought, when I figured his name out, I was like, oh, I like Delaney Walker. Every game, every Niner game, I was trying to see if he was out there and playing until I can copy his moves.
The two developed a relationship and were finally able to meet face to face.
I was around 7 or 8, I believe. It was the first time I met him. It was a small charity event that he had, and I finally got to meet him. And it was one of the best moments.
I seen a young man. He was excited about football, and he was his mother was a single parent, and I grew up that way. So I seen a little bit in myself and him, and just really motivate him. Just say, look, if you can play football, you can play football, but education is gonna be the key. If you have the talent, it'll show. Somebody will find you, but make sure you get an education. And I guess it just stuck with him because they would message me, they would see me around, and I would always have the same message, but he would get bigger and bigger every time I seen him.
Gabe is hoping to play this season as a freshman at California High School. He says even if it's just half a season, getting into a high school game would be amazing for this 6'4", 15-year-old.
Obviously keeping safe, keeping 6 feet away from other people, and I've been doing some small here and there cardio with my mom. We've been hiking very big hills so I can work on my thighs and my calves and all the important muscles in my legs.
As he goes about his day, Gabe knows there are two people looking after him. When Gabe was just 3, his mom was pregnant, only to lose unborn Matthew.
My son Matthew actually had spina bifida, found out later on in my pregnancy, but decided that was what I was given, and I was going to have Gabriel, and I was also going to have Matthew, and Matthew might have, had special needs, and I was prepared to live that life, and got the call that I needed to go in and have an emergency delivery, and unfortunately he didn't make it.
Then 2 years later, another pregnancy and another tragedy.
And then 2 years later, I was given another devastating blow. My daughter's heart stopped. Again, no real cause, just...
How old was she?
She was 7 months inside.
Two siblings Gabe would never meet. He was very young at the time. His mom explained all that happened when he visited the gravesite at age 5. Gabe says his brother and sister are a big part of his life.
I just feel it. I just feel it before I start a game, after I start a game, during the game. If I do something good, I always point to the sky just to make sure that they could see it, just so they know that I'm doing it for them.
Gabriel was my miracle child, and that's kind of how I've lived my life. Is I'm going to do what I need to do for him. His brother and sister are going to watch over us and keep him safe on the football field, it's a pretty rough sport. Luckily no injuries, and we contribute it to them just watching him.
Now 13 years later, both Gabe and his mom are at peace with the loss.
Well, of course I was young, and I always wondered why are they there, but now that I'm matured, it's I'm happy, of course I want them to have that sibling relationship with them. They can go to my games, I go to theirs, I take care of them, but I know that they're there. I always know. They're always in my heart, and they're always going to be there no matter what.
It's hard because sometimes I'm how was I so lucky? I guess in hindsight, maybe this was God's plan, was for me to focus my energy on Gabriel. He's a great kid. I know his brother and sister would have just been as equally great. But sometimes I just have to realize that I have this amazing kid here who's doing amazing things in his community, and just to be proud about him.
Jennifer supports Gabe's football aspirations, but as a mom, especially a mom who has lost 2 children, she is nervous about Gabe possibly getting hurt.
Last season, there was one play and I got so emotional and, got crazy. That crazy mom in the stands yelling and screaming, that was me. And for me, it's not just about overprotecting. I want these kids to play, and I know it's the concussion and all of the injuries that could happen. I'm trying to do everything right to make sure he's playing in an organization that encourages healthy football.
Gabe is doing very well in school with a 3.8 GPA. He volunteers here with the young players and is looking forward to playing high school football. He hopes to be just like Delaney Walker and someday play in the NFL. Until then, he's doing everything right to reach his goal.
Honestly, as a woman raising a young boy, amazing. I could not have been blessed with a more well-rounded individual. I don't have to harass him about getting his homework done.
A young football player helping even younger players as he strives to meet his goals.